Setsuko Murakami is 67 years old. Every morning, before a single word is spoken, she opens the sliding doors of her Kyoto home and lets the light in. She does not check her phone first. She does not turn on the television. She has done this for 22 years. Her house has no television at all. She is not unusual where she grew up. She is not a monk. She spent 3 years as a kitchen helper at Eiheiji, one of Japan's oldest Zen monasteries, at the age of 45. And when she came home, she brought 18 things with her. Not objects, habits. The world has 370 million people who take anxiety medication every day. Setsuko has never taken any. That is not luck. It is architecture. She once said, "Peace is not something you find. It is something you stop interrupting." She is not the only one. Eiheiji Monastery in Fukui has operated continuously for 800 years. The monks there follow a documented daily structure, from the moment they wake to the moment they sleep, that has been studied by NHK World and recorded in Dogen's 13th century text, the Tenzo Kyokun. Setsuko's neighborhood near Daitokuji in northern Kyoto is full of people like her. Women in their 60s and 70s who move slowly on purpose, who stop at the entrance of a shop before entering, who carry their own tea, who do not seem to be in a hurry toward anything in particular. What they share is not a program. It is a texture to their days that most people outside Japan have never seen and do not have a word for. What researchers found when they looked closely at Zen monastic life was not mysticism. It was repetition. Specifically, the repetition of 18 small behaviors distributed across the entire day. Today you are going to learn all 18 of them, not as a list to memorize. As a system, Setsuko has lived for 2 decades. The first thing she does each morning is not make coffee. It is not check her messages. She goes to the entrance of her home, the Genkan, and she straightens her shoes, pointing outward, placed symmetrically, exactly where they belong. 30 seconds. That is all. At Eiheiji, this is the first act of every monk's day. Before the kitchen, before the halls, before any other space is touched, the entrance is set right. The reason is practical and completely intentional. It signals to the brain that the transition between outside chaos and inside order has happened. The day has begun with intention, not reaction. Then she goes outside. She drapes her bedding over the railing in the morning sun. The Japanese call this Futon Boshi, airing the futon. The UV light reduces dust mites. The warmth and fresh smell of sun-dried fabric shortens the time it takes to fall asleep that night. But more than anything, it closes the night. The futon put away means the day has officially started. If you don't have a balcony, draping your blankets near a south-facing window works. The act matters as much as the sunlight. After the futon, Setsuko washes her face with cold water. Not warm, cold. This is asa no mizu, morning water. Cold water on the face activates what physiologists call the dive reflex, a rapid reduction in heart rate and a shift toward the parasympathetic nervous system. The clarity it produces does not come from willpower. It is a physical response. 15 seconds of cold water and the nervous system has already reset. If you have Raynaud's syndrome or a circulatory condition, use cool water instead of cold. The signal is still there at a gentler temperature. Then she sits. She does not speak. She does not reach for anything. This is Mokuso, the silence window. 10 minutes. No phone, no screen, no voice. The brain between sleep and full wakefulness exists in a state called theta, a zone of lower reactivity and higher openness. When most people reach for their phone in those first minutes, they end that window before it does its work. Setsuko has not let that happen in 22 years. Ask yourself honestly, how long was it this morning between waking and the first screen? If it was under 5 minutes, you used up your theta window before it could help you. Within the first 30 minutes of waking, Setsuko stands near a window or steps outside and lets natural light reach her eyes for 10 to 15 minutes. This is asa no hikari. Morning light synchronizes the circadian clock. raises serotonin production, and sets the body's melatonin cycle 14 to 16 hours later. Nothing in modern wellness has as consistent an impact on daily mood, and it costs nothing. At 6 a.m. in Eiheiji, before any resident has eaten, before any bell has rung for formal practice, the monks clean. Not the whole monastery, one assigned area, in silence, with full attention. This is Soji. Setsuko does 10 minutes of it each morning. One small zone, no music, no distraction. The neurological mechanism is the same as seated meditation. A repetitive, rhythmic, low-demand task quiets the part of the brain responsible for rumination. The monks do not clean because the floor is dirty. They clean because it clears the mind. When Setsuko first arrived at Eiheiji at 45, she expected to learn something profound. What she was handed instead was a broom. She was told to clean the hallway outside the kitchen, every morning, in silence. For 3 years, that was her introduction to Zen. Not a teaching, not a text, but a broom and 15 minutes of undivided attention on a wooden floor. She says it took her about a week to stop resisting it. After that, she never wanted to stop. Setsuko writes 3 sentences every morning before breakfast, slowly, with a pen she has used for years. This is Shodo, conscious writing. Handwriting activates 5 brain regions simultaneously. It externalizes thought, reducing the emotional weight of what stays inside. Studies in neuroimaging show it is more effective at processing emotions than digital journaling. 3 slow sentences is all it takes. Before she eats, she pauses. She says, "Itadakimasu," a Japanese expression of gratitude that acknowledges everything that made this meal possible. Not mechanically, with real attention. This is kansha. Active gratitude before each meal lowers inflammatory markers and produces sustained emotional well-being. The pause is the practice, not the words. And she has already thought of tonight's bath. Not drawn it yet, just thought of it. The ofuro is not a cleaning ritual in Japanese homes. The body is washed before entering. The bath is for transition. She will sit in it tonight as a deliberate close to the day. But the intention is set now. There is a cup in Setsuko's kitchen. It has a chip on the rim from the year her daughter was born. She has never replaced it. She was offered a new set of cups 3 times, once by her daughter, twice by neighbors who noticed the chip. Each time she said no. Not out of stubbornness, out of something she learned at Eiheiji that she could not explain in one sentence until years later. The monks there do not replace what is broken unless it no longer functions. A bowl with a crack still holds tea. A mat with a worn edge still serves its purpose. What they understood, what Setsuko eventually understood, is that the impulse to replace the imperfect thing is not about the object. It is about us. It is the refusal to accept that things age, chip, fade, and remain beautiful anyway. This is Wabi-Sabi, the Japanese acceptance of imperfection. Not as a concept, as a daily practice. Each day, she finds one imperfect object in her home and stays with it instead of fixing it or ignoring it. The pursuit of perfection in our homes and our bodies is one of the most documented sources of chronic anxiety in adults over 50. Setsuko ended that pursuit 22 years ago, one chipped cup at a time. After lunch, she walks, slowly, without her phone. 15 minutes. This is Kinhin, mindful walking. The goal is not exercise. The goal is presence. Rhythmic movement increases BDNF, a protein that supports brain health. Exposure to outdoor light reduces cortisol. The absence of the phone means the nervous system gets 15 uninterrupted minutes of quiet. All 3 effects happen simultaneously, every single day. Between each significant activity in her day, she pauses. 60 seconds, feet on the floor, a breath, then the next thing. The Japanese call this ma, the space between. It is not wasted time. It is the gap that prevents one thing from bleeding into the next and making everything feel like one long, unbroken demand. Most people check their phone in that gap. The monks leave it empty. That emptiness is where the calm lives. At some point in the afternoon, Setsuko makes tea. Not quickly. Not while doing something else. This is Chanoyu, the tea ritual. She notices the color of the water as it heats. She holds the cup before drinking. 5 to 10 minutes of full attention on one sensory experience. The L-theanine in green tea promotes calm alertness without drowsiness. But the real function of Chanoyu is the interruption. It stops the mental loop. You cannot ruminate and truly smell tea at the same time. Later in the afternoon, she looks out at something. A tree, a cloud, a flower past its peak. The Japanese have a word for the feeling of beauty made more beautiful because it will not last. Mono no aware. The cherry blossom is not mourned despite falling. It is felt more deeply because it falls. Setsuko practices this once a day, looking at something transient and letting the transience make it more real. Acceptance of impermanence reduces anticipatory anxiety. That is not a philosophy. That is a measurable effect. And she naps. 15 minutes in a chair after lunch with an alarm set. This is Inemuri. In Japan, resting in public is not laziness. It is evidence that you worked hard enough to need it. A 10 to 20-minute nap restores cognitive function measurably. More than 20 minutes, and the body enters deep sleep, producing what researchers call sleep inertia, the grogginess that makes the nap feel worse than nothing. 15 minutes in a chair, alarm set. That is the whole practice. Twice a week, Setsuko goes to the park near Daitokuji. Not to walk fast, not to exercise, just to be under trees. Shinrin-Yoku, forest bathing, was first documented by Japan's Forest Therapy Institute in 1982. Trees release compounds called phytoncides. 2 hours in nature increases natural killer cell activity in the immune system by measurable amounts, and the effect persists for up to 30 days after a single exposure. You do not need a forest. A park with trees is enough. Every week, Setsuko meets with 5 people she has known for decades. Same day, same time. No formal agenda. This is Moai, a practice that originated in Okinawa, Japan's longevity capital. A small group of 4 to 7 people with a fixed meeting and a genuine commitment to each other's well-being. Chronic social isolation carries a mortality risk equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The Moai is the antidote. Not social media, not a text thread. A recurring, real, physical meeting with people who know you. If you don't have a group like that right now, a fixed weekly call with 2 or 3 people you genuinely care for already does the work. And once a week, Setsuko spends meaningful time with someone from a different generation. A grandchild, a neighbor's child, a younger colleague. This is Sesai Tsunagari, intergenerational connection. It is one of the most consistent predictors of longevity in the Okinawa centenarian study. It gives purpose that is concrete, not abstract. It prevents the kind of generational isolation that settles in quietly after 65 and accelerates everything else. The monks at Eiheiji do not practice these 18 habits the way most people practice habits, by adding them to a schedule. They substitute. The phone in the morning becomes silence. The television at night becomes the ofuro. The scrolling during lunch becomes chanoyu. The same hours, different content. That is the insight behind the whole system. You are not being asked to find more time. You are being asked to replace what currently fills your time with something that does not generate anxiety. 3 habits to start. The ones Setsuko learned in her first week at Eiheiji. Mokuso, 10 minutes without a screen after waking. Asa no hikari, 10 minutes of natural light in the first half hour of the day. Kansha, a real pause before each meal. 7 days of those 3, and the morning already feels different. Not dramatically, not overnight, but measurably less reactive from the first hour. Setsuko opens her sliding doors every morning, not because she read about it somewhere. She opens them because 22 years ago, a monk at Eiheiji did the same thing. And she watched, and she understood. She never felt the need to explain it. She just stopped interrupting the peace that was already there. You have been watching her do what she does for the last 13 minutes. You now know why each of it works. Today, not next week, not after the weekend, put your phone in another room tonight. Wake up tomorrow without it for 10 minutes. Let the silence be uncomfortable for 3 of those minutes. Then let it settle. That is where it starts. If one of these 18 habits already lives somewhere in your day, tell us which one in the comments. And if you want to go deeper, the next video covers how Japanese communities use these same principles not just for peace, but for adding years to their lives.